Hey, welcome back. We're working on the bus again. We're starting on the solar panels on the roof. I got a box in the mail and one of them was shattered. So we're on the phone. Hopefully we got a replacement coming soon. But we got one here, so we're going to get started. See, we're going to mount them. Now, I didn't paint that part for a reason because I knew I'd be leaning a ladder up against it. So after we're done with this, we will paint that yellow spot. So we got one here for a dry run. That vent is kind of in the way, but we're going to reuse this hole that was all siliconed up. I don't know, for a radio antenna or GPS tracking. I don't know what it was there for, but got to play with the brackets to see which way will work out the best, and hopefully we'll be able to run all the wires through that one giant hole, reseal them, and then all the connections will be done inside that upper compartment, and then I could run the wires down to the controller and the battery. The other brackets, I got to figure out where they're going to be. I have the ribs over here that may be in the way. I could catch there, or on the back side. There's a lot of adjustability with these where you want to mount them. I could even get them a little bit higher up, so they're like in front of that roof vent. We will see. The replacement panel arrived. We have figured out our brackets where we want them. This will be the front. They'll be right to the edge. The other ones are back a little bit in. We mounted them on the diagonal side because the roof has a curve going to it, so these way they'll sit the flattest this direction. We got our wires tied on here and tied together, and this is how they're gonna all drop into the same hole in the roof, and then all the connections will be inside, out of the weather. So the hole magically was big enough to fit these, so it's pulled all the silicone out of it that was there, and then the plugs will fit right through one at a time. Actually, probably have to make it a little bit bigger because to clear the wire for each one. So let me go grind that open a little bit. We filed our hole a little bit bigger. Now the front half of this is all fiberglass up to this seam, and the rest of this is aluminum. So the bracket's going to hang off. I'm going to drill a hole and put a rivet nut in over here to hold the back part of it, and try to grab maybe possibly on this rib with like a self-tapping screw. We'll see how it goes. And got that hole opened up a little bit so the wires will all bypass each other. Push this wire to that side. There we go. Everybody fits. Now we just silicone that whole hole up. There's the bolts for the panels that are bolted in right through the fiberglass, and all the wires are going to come in here. Right side is the red ones and the green are the left. We got our panel wires running up to the compartment. They come down through here, drop down there. I needed to open up this wall over here to get them down where I want them, and then I ran them through some conduit over here, come across, come out here to charge controller, which is under the seat, and that is right next to our 30 amp breaker box. This came out of an RV my friend was junking, and a 12 volt fuse panel over here too. Well, that's going to get wired up. Battery is mounted in the box under the fridge, and all the wiring can run behind the seat over here. All bolted down and sealed up. All the wires go through in that one common spot. That's all sealed up with silicone, so not a lot of wire showing, which is good. Hopefully not blowing around in the wind making a lot of noise. We got our wires to the battery hooked up right now. We have everything running to the charge controller. The solar panels are not plugged in yet. They recommend you have this going first. We have it set to the right battery type, which is green. It's a sealed lead acid battery. Yes, you can mount the controller sideways. I checked. It's not a problem. This was the best place to fit it. Now we're going to plug in our solar and see how much voltage we're making. It's kind of cloudy right now. We got 12.7678 on the voltmeter right now. I'll plug them in and see what they do. Okay, we got positive voltage. The light is blinking. Check the voltmeter and we're making 13 volts almost, 12.92. Okay. See how that goes. Now we're going to hook up our refrigerator, see if it keeps it running. The battery we're using is a 170 amp hour battery. I bartered with someone and traded some services for them to get the battery. So it's a couple years old, but so far it's been up and running for about a month now and it's been working fine. So we added a 110 plug down over there running to our fuse box along with a power line for our rear air conditioning. So if we're someplace where there is power, we could plug in or power it up with a generator that I plan on carrying around. My thoughts on the Renogy system were is that it's very good. The only issue I would say is that all the wires they give you are all black. So when I was running wires, I just covered them with some red tape to show which were the positive to separate the negative after I pulled them through things. System was really easy to hook up. They recommend you putting a fuse coming from the panels down, which I did. I think it's a 30 amp fuse in here. And it's been running our refrigerator, which is a Alpicool, for a good month now already. Now, there's no voltmeter on the charge controller itself, but luckily the refrigerator has one, so you could monitor your voltage just by glancing at the fridge, which turns out to be really very practical. Would I buy this system again? Absolutely. Would I buy this refrigerator again? Absolutely. No problems with it. The price was right. It's doing what it needs to do. I did cut a few more holes in the cabinet over here to aid in the venting for the compressor. And as you could hear, it's really not that loud. We are currently on full charge. The battery is in float mode because the middle light is blinking. The top one means we are making power. We're making like 13.2 volts. And it has no problem staying charged overnight, keeping the fridge running. The rest of our wiring is down here. Got to add a few more things. All the wiring coming out of the roof was all neatened up and strapped in over here and run down. So, am I happy with all the things I purchased so far? Yes. I did pull the rear handle off of the fridge. This way it'll sit closer to the wall. And you're not really going to be moving it out of the way very often. It just unscrews. The front one I think unscrews too, but the panel is involved with it. Installed a little USB charging port over here to keep your phone charged. Now we get to put the fridge back in place. And I glued a little piece of foam over here to sit against the back of it where it sits. Strap it in. If you have to get underneath there, just pop the fridge out and lay it on the floor. So this was the best solution for me. Now I can reach in, get myself a cold drink. Refreshing. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions, put them in the comments. That's a nice log. Now, what are you doing over there? Come here. Come on.